County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Present.
Freeholder. Oh, yeah. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones, absent. Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Richardson.
Here.
Freeholder Sebo.
Here.
Freeholder Toro.
Here.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Thank you. Please stand for the salute of the flag. I'm going to ask Freeholder Bobadilla to please lead us in the salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence and remember all those that we've lost. Thank you. Okay, I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. And for members of the public who are here tonight or are watching home on television, tonight's meeting is officially known as a conference/board meeting. And we will vote on all of the agenda items we discuss. This varies from the normal process when we first discuss items at non-voting conference meeting, and then we'll vote on them at the following week's board meeting. I have to just continue to say that because I want to make sure that everybody at home understands the difference between our meetings and how this is the one in which we're going to discuss things, and that the following one will be the one where we'll take action and vote. I need to acknowledge Freeholder Vice President Gill, Freeholder Jones, and Freeholder Luciano, who are now present with us. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Then, Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Then let's move on to the public comments section of the meeting tonight. So I ask those that wish to comment on agenda items only to please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Do I have anyone who wishes to speak? Okay. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that there is no one wishing to speak at this time. Now, if there's any members of the public who wish to speak on any item at all, I invite you to the microphone. Please state your name and your affiliation, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Madam President, freeholders. My name is Chris Taylor. I am the Chief Shop Steward for IBEW Local 1158, which represents the bulk of the county employees here in Essex County. We're here before the board again today discussing the issue we last discussed with this board, I guess, back on July 9th. We have a situation which exists in the Department of Training with some of our employees where there is clearly a pay disparity that our union has been discussing with the administration on and off for now going on some almost 10 years. This matter, the Freeholder Board sent into its Labor Council. They asked for certain things from the administration. We're here now because we understand the board is getting ready to go back in the budget hearings, and we're again imploring the board to look at this. A group of employees, approximately 15, were asked to leave their jobs in welfare and go create the training unit for the County of Essex. Because they did that, the salary ranges that they're in are now slightly lower than those of their counterparts in the welfare division. This is something that can be repaired with the stroke of a pen. Literally, that's all it takes is to move the salary lines and so that there's parity between the employees on one side of citizen service and the employees doing the exact same job on the opposite side of citizen services. We don't understand why this is taking so long. We have provided a detailed chart of what the differences are. The total amount, if it were to go into effect today is approximately $211,000. But IBEW has not even suggested that they do it all in one lump sum. We've suggested that they move this over a couple of years, a little each year, until there's parity between the employees on both sides of the government. Again, we don't understand why it hasn't happened. What we do understand is that, as you all may have read recently in the newspaper, welfare, citizen services are not shrinking, they're growing. More and more clients are coming in. If you start to lose these seasoned employees who are truly starting to get fed up, though they're providing an extremely high quality of service, if you start to lose them, if you start to lose that institutional knowledge, it is something you will never, ever be able to retain. When this has happened in the past, what has happened is the federal government has come in and they've said, you don't have the right people, you don't have the right manpower in place, we're going to fine you. Why does the county want to get to this point again? This is a simple fix for 15 employees. So now as you're going into your budget hearings, we implore this board once again, through your budget process, through your labor council, take a look at this matter once again. Do what's right by these 15 employees. Give them their just due, because they are the people who are handling those lines that wrap around the block at 50 South Clinton. They are the ones who are handling the irate clients who come in there every day. They are the ones who are making sure that the county gets the grant money and things that it gets in here for servicing those clients. And when you lose them, that system is going to fall apart. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And as is our practice, you know, we're going to take it into advisement and we're going to answer everyone in writing. But I will tell you that this is already an issue that I have begun to work on and that we have discussed. We are going to be having a meeting and really looking deep into this issue. Thank you. Is there any other member of the public that wishes to come to the microphone and speak about any issue at all?
Good evening.
Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
My name is James Harris, resident of Montclair, and I chair the Education Task Force for the New Jersey Black Issues Convention. I also serve as the Essex County Coordinator for the New Jersey Black Issues Convention. The New Jersey Black Issues Convention is an organization of organizations. And first of all, I want to commend and congratulate all of you for your election or re-election, and say that the NAACP, as well as New Jersey Black Issues, looks forward to working with you. I come this evening to raise some issues that some of you have heard before. We're concerned about employment and fair treatment, particularly as it relates to contracts, and particularly related to who gets employed with the contracts that are given out at the county level. We've reviewed Deborah Collins' reports, and of course, there is progress reported. But at the rate we're going, it'll be 30 or 40 years before we achieve equality. And given a county with 323,000 of the 1.2 million black people in the state of New Jersey, I think that we can find black folks to do just about anything we need to get done if we look and if we carefully work through the process. So what I would like to suggest to the Freeholder Board is that before you approve any of the contracts, that you require an affirmative action impact statement. And that impact statement should say whether or not the company that's getting the contract has an affirmative action program and whether it complies with that component of the RFP that says they have affirmative action programs. And then I would encourage somebody to go out and look at these folks who are doing the work. When I go out around the county and see who's doing the work, I don't understand why black folks are not on those jobs. I commend the zoo, but I know most of the people I know would rather have a job than watching some animals jumping around a place in the county. I love the parks, but black folks need a job, not a bench to sit on in a park. When people go and repair the things in the park, the workforce is not diverse. This coming Saturday, the New Jersey Black Issues Convention will be sponsoring a workshop, and we're going to be looking at poverty. And we're going to be looking at the relationship between poverty and employment, because there is a connection. If anybody on the board can tell me of a situation where somebody stole a car on the way to work, I would love to hear about it. So if we're talking about reducing crime, we might be connecting that with education and employment. And I'd like to share with you the flyer that invites you to the program on Saturday, and I would want to invite all of you to come. We look forward to working with you. And since I know some of you very well, we will return. But this is not an instant. We're not looking for Burger King type of response. We're looking for a committed, dedicated response. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And yes, Gary, can you please hand out and distribute the information to all freeholders? Thank you, Mr. Harris, for your comments and for being a champion on issues of minorities. Again, as I spoke to Chris, this is something that has already begun to be worked on, and some of those mechanisms are already in place, but more needs to be done, and that is a high priority. But as is our practice, we will respond in writing to you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Chris, for your courage for coming up to the microphone as well. Do we have any other members from the public?
Good evening. My name is Vesta Godwin Clark. I'm the Executive Director of St. James Social Service Corporation. So first, I'd like to congratulate all the freeholders, those who are new, and those who have been here before, for all the work that you continue to do for Essex County. I come here on behalf of my organization and smaller nonprofits such as myself. In terms of, I would like to ask the freeholders to really look into the RFPs that are awarded to the different nonprofits. It seems that nonprofits such as ours, and I will talk about ours specifically, we don't tend to get the funding that we need from the county. We are one of the largest feeding programs in Essex County. We are the largest food pantry in Essex County, where we provide over 70,000 meals to over 25,000 people. Every day, between our feeding programs and our emergency assistance programs, we have over 250 people that come through our doors. As a nonprofit executive director of this agency for the past 15 years, since the recession has been very difficult for us. The funds that we receive from the county are very minimal and few. And just recently, there was a RFP that was reissued for CBDG funds, where it was said there was $1.3 million in excessive funds that were left over, and we had to put in a new RFP. We've only been getting, in terms of CBDG funds, $7,900 administratively for our food programs. We just recently submitted a proposal for towards renovation, which we've been encouraged by the county for CBDG to apply for renovation dollars for our building, and we never received it. So we just put in a little less than $100,000 for renovation and administration dollars for our building and for our administrative costs. And I really, really do hope that this Board of Freeholders will really look at the proposals that have come before you. Those we're offering services to clients of agencies, larger agencies that get the big bulk of the dollars. And I wanted to introduce myself so you would know who I am. I do have packets for all of the freeholders. If the clerk could kindly give them to them, I really appreciate it. It gives you a little information about us. And our claim to fame is we were featured on the Food Network a few years ago, where our soup kitchen was renovated by Chef Robert Irvine. So I thank you for the opportunity and really do hope that you will be able to work with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vesta, and thank you for your courage for coming forward. You know, nonprofits is certainly a passion of mine. It's almost as if everybody got together and decided to come before me with all of my platforms and passions. Actually, one of my first initiatives was starting a nonprofit a committee to review nonprofit funding. Cynthia Torre, raise your hand, is going to be chairing that and making sure. I believe in nonprofits that work. You are the ones on the ground, but as is our our practice, we will respond in detail in writing. I just wanted to let you know that that is something that was put into place. Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that wish to come forward? Thank you. Okay. Thank you again for all those that had the courage to speak. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that there's no one wishing to speak on any other issues at this time. And I also see that there's no ordinances on introduction and first reading.
There are none.
Okay. I see we have 2 ordinances listed for second reading and public hearing at next week's meeting. Ordinance number 02015-00001 and 02. So can you please list them for next week?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinances on our second reading, we don't have any on our second reading and public hearing for action at tonight's meeting. So let's move to resolutions. Resolutions number 1 through 9, except for resolution number 5, which has been withdrawn from the administration, are all new appointments of the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board. Right? Okay, please read them.
Resolutions 1, advice and consent nomination for the appointment of Jan Zientek to the Essex County Recreation Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board. Advice and consent nomination for the appointment of Richard Woloswit to the Essex County Recreation Open Space Fund Advisory Board. Advice and consent nomination for the appointment of Chris Weiss to the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Fund Advisory Board. Advice and consent, Resolution 4, advice and consent nomination for the appointment of Tara Casella to the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board. Resolution 6, advice and consent nomination for the appointment of Rashard Casey to the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board. Resolution 7, advice and consent nomination for the appointment of Mary Rother to the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board. Resolution 8, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Lori A. Jensen Tanner to the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board. Resolution 9, advise and consent nomination for the appointment of Anthony Puglisi to the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund and Advisory Board.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chaw, can you please explain the resolutions and introduce the nominees to make their opening statements?
Certainly. The advice and consent members for the Open Space Trust Fund is coming before the board this evening as new appointments. Last year, the board was, the makeup of the board was reconstituted, and these members are now coming before the board. I'll say their name and the areas in which they represent, and they'll come up to the microphone and introduce themselves. The first is Jan Zenek, who is representing the agricultural agent.
Good evening. It's Jan Gentek, and with Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Essex County. I've been with Rutgers Cooperative Extension since May of 2001, based here in Essex County. I'm the Agriculture and Resource Management Agent for the county. I work with the Master Gardeners and support community gardening and other volunteer programs in the county. I'm familiar with almost all the communities in the county because of my job, and I've had the pleasure of working with on the Open Space Commission for almost 12 years now.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Chihuahua?
The next is Richard Wolowitz, whose affiliation is with the Arborist organization.
Good evening. This is Richard Wallowitz, and I'm with, again, representing the arborists, the tree industry. I have forester by degree, spent 11, 12 years working for a municipality as a city forester, and then 25 years working in the utility industry's vegetation management, and now I've hung up my own shingle, doing consulting to municipalities, government agencies, private entities, and woodlot management people. I've been in the open space for a number of years, at least 6 years, and looking forward to doing some more work.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Mr. Chawla?
Chris Weiss, who is affiliation, is also a member of the Sierra Club.
Yes, thank you. Chris Weiss. I am representing Joe D. on the Open Space Trust Advisory Board.
Would you like to tell us a little about yourself?
I happen to be a computer consultant. I have my own company, and I've been in the field for a goodly number of years. There's no direct relationship between the computer consulting and the advisory board, but that's what it is.
Okay.
I have, of course, been with the Sierra Club for a goodly number of years.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Chawla?
The next is Tara Cassell, Environmental Commission.
I'm Tara Casella. I work for the Parks Department. I run the Environmental Center in Roseland. Welcome, new freeholders and old. I run the Environmental Center. We do nature-based education. I guess I'm representing the Essex County Environmental Commission. I work for the Parks Department and assist the director and liaise between a lot of our park conservancy groups. Do you have any questions? Hopefully we'll see you up at the Environmental Center participating in our programs, coming to Earth Day, Oktoberfest, and a variety of what we offer to the public.
Thank you, Tara.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chawla?
Rashard Casey, his affiliations are in youth recreation.
All right, hello. My name is Rashard Casey. I'm the Director of Youth Development and Recreation at the Northwood Center here in Newark. We service thousands of kids throughout the city, and for the last 12 years, I've been trying to create programs and working alongside the county, trying to create after-school enrichment programs so to keep the kids safe, out of trouble, and doing something positive. I have a degree in recreation and park management, and I hope I can be an asset to this board.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. Mr. Chawla?
Mary Rother, who's also a member of the Sierra Club.
Mary Gotts-Rother, Madam President, fellow freeholders, congratulations to all of you on your re-election or your new election to the board, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve in the Open Space Committee. I'm Director of Legislation for Teresa M. Ruiz. I've been in that position since she's been elected. Previously, I worked for Assemblyman Fred Cataballo. I was his office manager, and I'm very happy to serve in this capacity and look forward to continuing working on open space issues with the county and the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chawla?
Lori Tanner, Environmental.
Hi, Lori Tanner. I live in Verona, New Jersey. I've been a member of the Open Space Recreation Trust Fund since 1998, when it was first passed in 1997 with the guidance of Freeholder Pat Siebold and the county executive who was Freeholder president at the time. And the board was established in 1998, and there were a number of us who've been on the board since the beginning. And I believe that the work that we've done, either by purchasing open space, saving historic places, improving all the parks throughout the county from Newark to the reservations to Fairfield, has greatly improved the quality of life through all the citizens in the county. And I appreciate your time and effort that you give towards the projects that come before you, and thank you for your support. I look forward to serving another 3 years.
Thank you, Lori. Mr. Chalala?
And finally, Anthony Puglisi, who has background in urban studies and public planning, but also serves as our public information officer.
That's right. It's not that tall. Hi, Anthony Puglisi. I'm the Public Information Director for County Executive DiVincenzo. I've been served on the board for the past 5 years. Enjoyed my time on the board. I echo everything that Lori Tanner has said. I've seen a great, vast improvement in the parks since this trust fund was created in 1998, and how the county executive has used the funds to match grants to improve the quality of life throughout the county. And I just look forward to serving with you and with the board again. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Acknowledging Freeholder Seabolt.
Thank you very much. The Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board does a fantastic job. I have served as a freeholder liaison with that board since 1998, and I know all of the people who are on that board very well, except for the newcomer, Rashard Casey, whom I'm sure with his background will do an excellent job. Lori Tanner is the chair of the advisory board. She has done an absolutely marvelous job. She was recently re-elected to be the chair for this coming year, and she does a fantastic job running the group. And Mary Rother is the vice chair, and she too does an excellent job. We have wonderful, wonderful people on the Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board, and we are very, very lucky that they are willing to give their time to devote to making Essex County even better. When I look back at what it was when this committee first started and what it is today, it's hard to believe that people are coming from all over to Essex County because of what we have to offer. And so much of that is because the Open Space Trust Fund goes over everything the county executive wants to do to make Essex County even better. And we discuss it, we improve it, or we change something, and then of course it comes to the Freeholder Board for approval. And I can't say enough what a wonderful job the Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board has done in all these years, especially under the direction of Lori Tanner. Thank you.
Thank you. Acknowledging Freeholder Seabolt, Bobadilla.
Yes, I want to congratulate all the appointments, in particular Rashard Casey, who I know for about 9 years now, a colleague of mine, and great talent that we have, not only as an exceptional manager and a great role model for our youth, but also a former Penn State quarterback.
Thank you. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all of them that are back here. I've had the opportunity of working with different ones on different occasions, and I know of their professionalism, and congratulations, and keep on doing the work you do for the County of Essex.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yeah, I want to congratulate all of you for your willingness to serve. But Mr. Casey, are you the same Mr. Casey who served on the Housing Authority as a Housing Authority Commissioner? Yeah. Thank you.
Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. I too would like to welcome everyone back on the Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board. Speaking firsthand as the District 4 freeholder, I know I've seen a lot of the funds and projects over the last 3.5 years take place out in District 4. Many of them are beautiful, And when folks run into me as freeholder, a lot of times, if they talk about anything in Essex County, they talk about the things they see. And the things that they see are the things that the Essex County Open Space Trust Fund has funded over the years. So thank you for what you've done. And you'll be seeing me later this year because I have a project in the back of my mind that I've been petitioning for the last 2 years. Just wanted to let you know. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Vice President Gill?
Thank you, Madam President. Also would like to congratulate the new members and congratulate the old members. It's my second term, but first term as District 5 freeholder. Saw many improvements in the parks within the 5th freeholder district, some fantastic projects, but most importantly, again, your willingness to serve and volunteer your time on a volunteer board. We are lucky to have that level of expertise as we move our county agenda forward, and to have that civic engagement is critical to the health of this county. So thank you, and best of luck.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments, freeholders? Okay. I just wanted to say, thank you so much for coming before us to read your resumes. We really appreciate that. And thank you for your passion in serving your community. So, okay. When Madam Clerk sits down, we're going to roll call, and we're going to take a vote.
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Seabold.
I'll second.
Seconded by Freeholder Bobadilla. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Seabold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Great. Congratulations to all the nominees. And thanks for being here tonight, and have a great evening. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolutions number 10 through 13, which are reappointments to the Essex County Human Services Advisory Council.
Resolution 10, advice and consent nomination for the reappointment of Felipe Chavana, Esquire, to the Essex County Human Services Advisory Council. Resolution 11, advice and consent nomination for reappointment of Beverly Lynn to the Essex County Human Services Advisory Council. Resolution 12, advice and consent nomination for the reappointment of Shirley Johnson to the Essex County Human Services Advisory Council. Resolution 13, advice and consent nomination for the reappointment of Annette Strickland to the Essex County Human Services Advisory Council. Madam President, should I also do 14?
No.
Okay.
14 is Mental Health Advisory
Okay.
Board. This is Human Service Advisory Board. Okay. Mr. Chalala, please explain the resolutions and introduce the nominees to make opening statements.
These nominees are for the Essex County Human Services Advisory Council. The first individual, Felipe Chauvin, is a representative of Essex Newark Legal Services.
Good evening. My name is Felipe Chavana. I am the Executive Director of Essex Newark Legal Services and have been for the last 25 years. I have spent the last 37 years working for the poor as an attorney, focusing again on civil legal services. In Essex County, we have tremendous problems around evictions and around insufficient income, which affects all aspects of the battle for survival. And at Essex Newark Legal Services, that's what we deal with every single day, trying to keep people from becoming homeless or from just absolute destitution and homelessness. And so that's what I try to bring to the Human Services Advisory Board, my experiences in the daily battle around these critical issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Felipe. Mr. Chalala?
The next nominee, she was not able to come tonight, so we'll move her to our next meeting. That's Ms. Beverly Lynn, and she represents the Program for Parents. Resolution 12, Ms. Shirley Johnson as a representative from the Consumer Advocate Families.
Is Ms. Johnson here? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Shirley Johnson, and I represent the Consumer Advocates for Families. I wasn't prepared to speak, but I just want to say what we do as volunteers is we help residents of Essex County to become empowered where they're able to advocate for themselves, understand the human services that are available to assist their families. So it's like ongoing services, trainings, and making referrals to different agencies.
Thank you. Mr. Chalala?
Next, we have reappointment of Ms. Annette B. Strickland, representing the Schumann Fund for New Jersey.
Hello, I'm Annette Strickland. I'm a program officer with the Schumann Fund for New Jersey. I've served on the Human Services Advisory Council for a number of years. As program officer, I oversee a portfolio that includes early childhood development, environmental protection, public policy within the state of New Jersey, and community-based organizations within Essex County.
Thank you so much. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Freeholder Siebold?
Thank you. Again, as I said before about the Open Space Trust Fund Advisory Board, we're very fortunate that we have so many wonderful people who are willing to give their time to work on behalf of Essex County on a volunteer basis. And just reading the resumes of all of these people, they all have such fantastic backgrounds. And I think it's really wonderful that you're willing to give your time to devote to this advisory board. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you. Freeholder Toro?
Also, reviewing your resumes, I recognize the level of expertise that you all bring, and I admire that you take, the time to volunteer to this board. And as a new freeholder, I look forward to getting to know you personally on a better level, to know how I can help, since this is the area of work that I am passionate about and I work in. Thank you.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Again, I just want to echo the comments made by my colleagues. I think, examining your resumes, you guys have a level of expertise that obviously here in Essex County we can benefit from as you serve in your capacity. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any others? Freeholders, questions or comments? Okay, I would just like to say thank you so much for your passion to serve what I believe is the underserved and those who sometimes cannot speak for themselves. And with that said, freeholders, do I have a motion and a second to take?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold, seconded by Freeholder
Toro.
Freeholder Toro. Seconded by Freeholder Richardson.
This is for 10, 11, and 13. Skipping.
This is for 10 through 13.
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, congratulations to all the nominees. Thank you so much for all of your hard work, and I know it will certainly continue. So have a great evening. Okay, Madam Clerk, please let's move to resolution number 14, which is a reappointment to the Essex County Mental Health Advisory Board. Please read.
Resolution 14, advise and consent nomination for the reappointment of Sanford. I need a little help. Flittel to the Essex County Mental Health Advisory Board.
Mr. Chawla?
Yes, Mr. Feitel is a reappointment to the board, and he's representing the program for parents. Mr. Feitel?
Is he not here? I was hoping he was here to at least tell us how to pronounce his last name.
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna check the hallway? Sure, we'll wait a minute. Okay. So we'll move him over to the next meeting. Okay?
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 15?
Resolution 15, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of the Treasury, resolution to award and execute contracts for 2015 bond counsel services at a cost not to exceed $80,000 per transaction.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Chawla, can you please explain the resolution?
Yes, an RFQ was prepared. We did have 9 responses for bond counsel. Each firm was evaluated on factors such as experience, reputation, New Jersey presence, public finance transaction, and New Jersey municipal finance experience. The 9 bond counsels that will be as part of the pool, Gibbons PC, McManaman in Scotland, Edward Wildman, Dakotas Fitzpatrick, Capehart Scratchard, Hawkins Delafield, McCarter and English, Perlman and Moranza, and Kraft and Capizzi. We do have our treasurer with us, Mark Acker, if the board has any questions regarding this resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions or comments?
The only comment is similar to the way we do an approved list for counsel, for not bond counsel, but for general legal counsel. We do create a pool. However, this one, unlike in particular legal contracts for, let's say, litigation, this would be pre-approval for bond issuance. So the particular counsel would not come back before this board when there's a bond opportunity that goes out, I think in large part because of timing issues and some other things. So this approval would be the last approval for these particular counsel.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Polavecchio. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Freeholder Toro?
I just want some clarification. Are we approving all of these entities for a contract of $80,000? Or are we approving that whenever there's a service below $80,000, it doesn't come before the Board of Freeholders?
What, if I may, Madam
Mr.
President?
Polavecchio?
What you're doing is approving this pool of attorneys for, if there's a bond opportunity that comes up, they can be awarded a contract not to exceed $80,000. So it might be, it will never be more than that, but it could be less depending on the price of issuance, I think. We still do, it used to be much more. We've capped it now at $80,000. But it wouldn't come back to the board. So if there was a bond to go out for, I don't know, whatever it is, $20 million, it wouldn't come back to this board.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions or comments, Freeholders? Mr. McInerney?
Yeah, the only other thing is, if we don't go out for bonds, we won't use any of these. So, and if we go out for one, we'll use one. So it's just a pool that we have to choose from. It's more like a request for qualifications. And again, it doesn't have to be 80,000, it doesn't have to be all of them.
Thank you. Mr. Acker, do you have anything you wish to add? Yes.
I'm sorry, Mark Acker, Director, Department of Administration and Finance. No, unless there's further questions.
Okay. Freeholders, any further questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion and a second for resolution number 15?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson,
I'll second it.
seconded by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Jones,
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson,
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel,
Yes.
Freeholder Toro,
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake,
Yes.
so moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please move to resolution number 16 and read it?
Resolution 16, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of the Treasury, resolution to award the executive contracts for 2015 financial advisory services at a cost not to exceed $80,000 per transaction.
Thank you. Mr. Chalala, can you please explain resolution number 16?
Certainly. As like the previous resolution, the Office of the Treasury, through the Office of Purchasing, advertised a RFQ for this service for financial advisors. There were 5 responses. All 5 were evaluated under the understanding of the scope of services, financial advisory experience, New Jersey financial advisory experience, and New Jersey presence and rating experiences. The 5 financial advisors as part of this pool, NW Financial Group, Phoenix Advisors, Acadia Financial Group, Public Resource Advisory Group, and the PMF Group.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions or comments?
No comments, just that similarly to the last one, this pre-qualified group is, we've given the administration the authorization to go out and hire them if in fact there is the need for financial advisor services for a bond issuance. Again, like Mr. McInerney said, if we don't do any, we won't use anybody. We may use one, we may use none, may use all 5. And not to exceed $80,000.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions or comments? Mr. Acker? Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Do I have a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Freeholder Richardson and seconded by Freeholder Bobadilla. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro,
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel,
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson,
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Jones,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill,
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla,
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Please read resolution, Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 17.
Resolution 17, Office of County Council, resolution extending the time for Joseph Kushner Hebrew Academy to attain a final subdivision of property auction to be sold to it in Livingston, New Jersey.
Mr. Chalala, can you please explain resolution number 17?
This resolution is for time only. This auction had occurred last year. The county auctioned this parcel of block 6100 in Livingston between this particular school as well as St. Barnabas Ambulatory Care. The county did receive $118. As part of the auction, the winning bidder had to obtain final subdivision approvals from Livingston. They have not done so to date, and so we are just granting them additional time to the end of this year to obtain those subdivisions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Polavecchio?
Yeah, Mr. Chilella, just clarify that auction price. I have it as $100,018, not $118.
$100,000.
$100,018.
Okay, that's correct.
Right, and just for the board's edification, as Mr. Chilella said, the sale was contingent on the successful bidder obtaining the local approvals, which was the subdivision of the property. For whatever reason, I don't know, they haven't received that yet through the town. I don't know if they've applied to what I presume would be either planning or zoning in Livingston, but this is just giving them more time to get before that board and get their approvals.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comment? Acknowledging freeholder Siebel.
Thank you. This procedure is being worked on by Livingston right now. It has not appeared before the planning board. I believe they're working on the deed with the council, and it has not been finished yet, but it will be. I understand shortly it will be completed, but they needed some extra time to get it completed. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Luciano.
Madam President, through you. Mr. Chayla, I know that this was from February of 2014, but could you just, as the District 4 freeholder representing Livingston, could you just refresh my memory? So we're the seller of this property to Kushner Academy for $100,000?
If I can ask our counsel, Mr. Paganelli, who spearheaded this, to speak on that.
Want to ask now before Paganelli gets going?
You know what, Mr. Paganelli, before you speak, let's get a motion on the floor. Freeholders, do I have a motion in a second? Moved by Freeholder Siebel. No second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Freeholder Jones. Okay, Mr. Paganelli?
Madam President, James Paganelli from the Office of County Counsel. Through you, Madam President, Freeholder, yes, this was an auction back in February, if that's the date. I don't have the resolution right in front of me. The sale of the property was contingent upon them getting a subdivision. We wanted a subdivision because we wanted to create two parcels. One parcel is theirs in fee. The other parcel, though, we wanted to make sure that we had the right to retrieve it in case we ever needed to widen the road on South Orange Avenue. So that's the necessity of creating two parcels.
Okay. Because you just actually answered my follow-up, my question. The question was, why would we sell the property contingent upon subdivision? But I see that we have an interest in potential widening the road down the road. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Freeholder Siebel?
I could just add that part of the property is actually where Eisenhower Parkway was supposed to continue, but Eisenhower Parkway stopped at South Orange Avenue, and that land has not been used, and apparently it never will be used. But if it should be needed, then that land will revert back to the county. So that's why this is being done with Kushner Academy, which is adjacent to that property, and they will then use some of that land. They won't build on that land, but that land will become a recreation area for the school, but it could revert back to the county should Eisenhower Parkway be continued.
Okay.
Am I correct?
Madam President, through you, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please let's move to resolution number 18. Please read it.
Resolution number 18, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Welfare, contract award to Dreamland Security Services Incorporated, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide private security services, February 18th, 2015 to February 17th, 2017, amount not to exceed $1,034,436.48.
Thank you. Mr. Chalala, can you please explain resolution number 18?
This is security services for our facility at 18 Rector Street, commonly known as our welfare office. This is a new vendor, and it is for 2 years. And we do have a representative in the audience, I believe the president from Dreamland Security. If I could call him up to the microphone.
Good evening, Madam President.
Good evening.
My name is Howard Glover, and I'm the Assistant Director of Dreamland Security, representing Dreamland at this time. Dreamland Security is a security provider. We've been in operation at this time for approximately about 10 years. We presently have one New Jersey contract that is active at this time, and several contracts in New York City at this time. We do business also right now, 369 East 149th Street in the Bronx, New York.
Thank you. Would you like to speak, sir?
Just to say, in addition to that, we would like to thank every one of you for giving us the opportunity to serve you, and I assure you that we are now the part of the committee to serve you as we move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and can you please put your name and affiliation on the record?
Yes, my name is Marvis Eromse. I'm the president of the company. Thank you.
Thank you, Maurice.
I would
Okay.
also like to introduce, I have my director of operation here, who is going to be working to ensure that we get all the rightful people to work to serve you as you need it.
Thank you, and your Director of Operations name is?
John Adeyemi.
Thank you, just for the record. Okay, Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions or comments?
No, just a point of fact that this contract came in just about $400 more than the previous contract for the previous 2 year. So it was very close. It was almost exact to what we were paying previous years.
Okay. Mr. Polavecchio?
No, nothing additional, thank you.
Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Freeholder Toro?
I may have missed it. I didn't see, I noticed the total amount of hours for the year, but I didn't see the hours that security would be on the premises. So, and I didn't see it on the contract.
It's broken down.
Yes, Mr. McInerney.
It's not, I had to look for it myself. It's not very specific. It's one of the back pages, and it's condensed, and it has a listing of all the types of security guards that we have, who's unarmed, who's armed.
Yeah.
There's only 2 armed.
I saw that, but I didn't see hours.
I agree.
And I just, just for the record, if we can have that
If we
information,
can
it'd
get
be
that,
great.
then.
Lucia Guarini, Deputy Director of Citizen Services. Through you, Madam President. Freeholder, the guards are, as Mr. McInerney said, we have 18 guards that are unarmed, 2 armed guards. The hours of operation are from 7:30 a.m. Mondays through Fridays, and on Wednesday evenings we have extended hours, so there will be guards, 1 armed and 1 unarmed guard, from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. for extended hours on Wednesdays. Does that answer your question?
If I might. Madam President?
Yes. Mr. McInerney?
I think if we could see a schematic, like, as to what the hours are and the people on those days, Monday through Sunday, to show the freeholder in a little more illustrative way so she can get a good understanding of what those hours are by day and by the number of personnel each day. It might be more on the weekday than there is on the weekend, but that's what we want to see.
Through you, Madam President, I will provide that through the county administrator for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Richardson?
Good evening. Congratulations on winning the contract. I just have a quick question. So where are you guys located? I heard you say you have a contract in New York.
Yeah, we are located in the Bronx, 369 East 149th Street, just 5 minutes away from George Washington Bridge.
So
we also have another contract in Newark, and we just started that about 3 months ago. And if we happen we got this, it will be 2 contracts in Newark.
So my other question brings me to my other question. Is so how many Essex County residents do you have currently working for you?
Currently we do not have any.
So you have a Newark contract, and now you have an Essex County contract, and you have no one from Newark or Essex County who works for you?
As of now, no, but we look forward to. Sorry, sir.
No. Wait, I'm sorry, sir. You have to come to the microphone.
Okay.
And state your name and affiliation.
Okay. Let me quickly introduce, that is my New Jersey area manager, and he lives in Abington, and he's also work here in...
Evening, gentlemen. My name is Mr. Miyaki. I work for Dreamland Security. Currently, we have a site in Pet Amboy with Raritan Mental Based Center. That we have 2 employees working there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, Mr. President, if you could come back to the mic. So now, my question is, you have, on this particular contract, you have 18 unarmed guards and 2 armed guards. So you have, that's 20 people. So you have 1 person from Irvington who actually works for you. So you have nobody from Essex County, except for you have only 1 person from Essex County, or from, how many people do you have in Newark working?
In Newark?
Yeah, you mentioned the Newark contract.
Oh, Newark or New York?
Newark.
Newark. As of now, we don't have any, but that will not be an issue if we're ready to.
And I only brought it up because you mentioned Newark. I didn't know anything about you having a Newark contract, so I only mentioned it. So what I'm saying to you is you have an Essex County contract, but it seems like you're bringing all these people from somewhere else. I think you ought to, for me, I'd like to see you do a better job of recruiting folks from Essex County for $1 million contract. There's no reason why you couldn't have to do a better job of recruiting people from Essex County to have an opportunity to work here. Because I know workforce development does a lot of SORA licenses. We had this conversation. So they have quite a few people who've gone through their program, the Essex County program, through it, and have the SORA licenses that you can pick and choose from. So I would like for you to be working to see you contact that particular workforce development department and recruit some of these people who've gone through this program. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a commitment from you tonight to do that.
Okay, if I may, Madam President. We do presently have people working in Newark. I think the question wasn't answered clearly enough. At the contract, there are...
And sir,
Newark
can you, everybody
residents-
who comes to the mic, it looks like we're going to be tag teaming here. Everybody who comes to the mic, even though you've already stated it before, just so
sorry,
that we can transcribe properly, please state your name and affiliation again for the record.
Howard Glover, Assistant Director, Dreamland Security. Yes. There are residents working at the present site, as well as the idea is that those that are working currently, we can recruit those as well. And if they're not willing to stay on with Dreamland with the new contract, then we'll recruit from the actual community in which the contract will be serviced.
So more specifically, let me be real clear here. The county of Essex, where you're getting a contract from, has a program where they train security officers. They get their SORA license through workforce development. So I'm not talking about just going out into the community. I'm talking about partnering with the county and their workforce development plan and their department to recruit specifically from there. All right, they have a program.
So thank you very much. Let me come again. Marvis, everyone said the president of the company. Actually, it's a commitment. We usually look forward to hire people within the environment, within the community, so, to lift them up. But the most important thing is we look forward for those who are capable, who are ready to, to do the service, because there are little requirement, but we do give preference to people that come from Essex County to fill the positions.
That's fantastic, and thank you for the commitment.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chalella, could you please follow up with workforce development and those folks who have those SORA license and ensure that some of these people get an opportunity with this particular company that's gone through the county program and the county system? Thank you, sir.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Bobadilla?
This question is to the administration. Ralph, was it necessary to make this a 2-year contract with a new vendor that we have no experience with?
I think, as in the past, we've done 2-year contracts. It's just a matter of investing and having a company that is, at any point in time, if a company does not perform, we do have termination clauses. So I would not be fearful of a 2-year time contract. If they're not performing, they will be given a notice to cease. But I would like to point out to the entire board, this is a new company here doing business. They do not start their contract until February the 18th. There are employees that are employed as security guards with the current vendor, as we try to do with all new vendors coming in. We do not like to see individuals added to the unemployment lines, so we encourage them to work with the existing workforce to transition if they can. I think it's beautiful tonight that we did have a commitment from the company that they will commit to hiring Essex County residents, and I think that is, I think we're all on the same page and we're all looking for the same thing.
Thank you. And can you state again who the previous company was?
The present security company is Roman.
Roman. Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Jones.
I'm happy that you are a new company that is going to work for Essex County, but what I must say to freeholders, if we hold those people accountable and scrutiny as to Essex County employee, I hope that we will do the same for others. And I do believe in entrepreneurship, and you're a young company, and I wish you the best of luck, and I do believe you will do your best to serve Essex County. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Jones. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing that, I'm going to make mine, actually. I just wanted to say that the company that you all are replacing, and for the other freeholders that may or may not know this, I'm quite sure the ones that have been here longer know this, was not performing well. And there was accusations of them not paying the employees on time, although we were paying them on time, and also the treatment of the clients coming in. The welfare population is something that is very, very, very dear to my heart, and it's an area in which I'm looking to improve overall throughout how we deliver services. You all will be the first ones to interact with them as you are checking them and bringing them into the building. And I just ask that whomever it is that you're working with, that your security company treat the clients, because they are clients, with nothing but dignity and respect. And if I hear otherwise, we will hold your feet to the fire, okay? As far as I echo the same sentiments as my colleagues, Freeholder Richardson brings up an excellent point. We do spend time training people to be security officers, and it makes sense to pull from that list and also employ from there. So I would like to see that. And with that said, I'd like to see a status report, Mr. Chalala, from 90 days after the start of the contract. I'd like to see a status report of the employees and their addresses that are working for you all under this contract. I also echo the same sentiments as Freeholder Jones. I think that if this is something that we are doing for this company, and I do support entrepreneurship, and I congratulate you in your endeavors, that we should also do that for the majority of contractors, contracts. And it's only right. We have high unemployment. Unemployment is a serious issue, and if we can do that, that's how we can be better as a county. So I'll ask again, freeholders, any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion by Freeholder Richardson.
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Congratulations. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 19?
Resolution 19, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, approval of sub-grant agreements under the county's local history program grant to provide historical programs and events December 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2015, amount not to exceed $10,872, grant funding.
Mr. Chalala, can you please explain resolution number 19?
Yes, Madam President. In your packet, you'll have a list of those local organizations and a description of the services they provide, as well as the total award amount. And it's basically to help residents' accessibility to local educational history and programming activities throughout the county.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or any comments?
Did Dan leave? Dan Savanti leave? He's here.
Freeholder Seabolt?
Did Dan Savanti leave? He
I
was here.
believe so.
Is Dan Savant? Okay.
I can answer it if there's any questions.
My question I have no problem with this. I was just wondering whether, how many people applied for a grant? You can tell me at another time. I see the list of all the people who were approved. Are they all the people who applied? Were there more people
I will
who
have
applied
to.
who weren't approved? That's all I want to know.
Through Madam President, I will provide a memo to the clerk as to who applied and who received, well, you know who received funding.
We know who applied and who received it. But were there others? That's my question.
I will provide that to
Thank
the
you.
clerk tomorrow.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion and
I'll
a
move
second? Moved by Freeholder Seabolt. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Seabolt.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please move to resolution number 20. Please read.
Resolution 20, 2015 Grant Agreement Temporary Emergency Appropriation from the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation for Essex County Annual Transportation Program, Department of Public Works, $5,217,500.
Thank you. Mr. Chella, can you please explain?
Yes, Madam President. The breakdown is as such. Last year, the county received about $4.7 million. We are receiving an additional $468,000 as part of this grant program. It includes part of the debt service of our new parking deck at the Essex County Hall of Records. That's commonly referred to as the juror parking lot. There's also funding for 2015 roadway resurfacing and roadway incidental programs, and 2015 sealing of cracks and joints on various county roads, and about 100 feet of intersection traffic improvements will also be included as part of this funding program.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions or comments?
Has the 18 and a half miles of, has that been determined yet?
Through Madam President, the 18 and a half miles have not been finalized as of yet, nor has the 4.2 miles for crack sealing been identified as of yet.
Okay, when that is, could you distribute that to the board?
We certainly will.
Okay.
Freeholder.
Again, we covered this in the budget hearings. This is really, we're really getting here for purposes of the resurfacing, really 4.7 million. The grant part is that piece we talked about when we were talking about debt service coming in as a revenue item, as offsetting debt service as an appropriation. There's a grant included here for $468,000. So again, this really amounts to monies accessible for the resurfacing.
Correct.
Of the 4.7.
That is correct, Madam President.
Okay. Freeholder Seabolt?
Thank you. Mr. Chair, is there going to be new parking at the Hall of Records?
Through Madam President, this aid that we are receiving is part of a debt service commitment the state has made during the planning and the construction of the current jurors' parking lot. So this is ongoing payment to the county to retire that debt. It's a reimbursement to the county to pay down the debt.
Nothing new?
No, this is,
thank
this
you.
has been built.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, do I have a motion in a second?
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Toro. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please move to resolution number 21.
Resolution 21, Department of Public Works, Division of Building and Grounds Contract Award to Handy Lift Service Company Incorporated, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide maintenance and service of handicap lifts January 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2016, amount not to exceed $33,407.97.
Thank you, Mr. Chilala. Can you please explain resolution number 21?
This is a maintenance contract as well as a repair contract for various handicap lifts throughout Essex County's public buildings that Essex County owns. This is the same vendor as last year. The contract is broken down into two components, $21,407.97 for maintenance and $12,000 for repairs.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, Madam President.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Okay, freeholders?
I would
Freeholder
like-
Libby Jones?
Yeah, the lifts, is that different from elevators?
Through Madam President, yes, elevators, we have a separate repair contract for elevators. This is for those handicap lifts that you might see in our public buildings. We have one in the rear of Hall of Records. It's strictly for handicap lifts.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Mr. Chilala, are these the kinds of lifts that, that move people up the stairs, or?
They're a combination. There are some that are actually, if you see the commercial, someone going from the first floor to the second floor, a rail type of a device for handicap. We have those, and then we actually have handicap lifts that we also have at other facilities. So it's a combination, and it's to address our handicap population.
Excellent. Okay. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion in a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Libby Jones,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Toro. Roll call.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Can you please move on and read resolution number 22?
Resolution 22, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Contract Award to Liberty Mechanical Contractors, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide electrical and mechanical services for the Kingsland Avenue Bridge, Essex, Bergen County, 2-year agreement, amount not to exceed $222,820, shared cost at 50%, Essex County share, $111,410.
Thank you. Mr. Chalala, can you please read resolution, I'm sorry, can you please explain resolution 22?
Yes, Madam President, there are a number of bridges throughout Essex County, and many of them border two counties. The agreement we have with those surrounding counties, I'll use this as an example. Kingsland Avenue Bridge borders Essex and Bergen County. Every 2 years, each county will alternate in bidding the item for the repair. And there's a 50-50 split for those expenditures. This time, it happened to be Essex County's turn to bid this mechanical work for this specific bridge at Kingsland Avenue. It's a as-needed basis, not to exceed. And as you can see, the County of Essex for a 2-year period is not to exceed $111,410. And likewise, Bergen County share is the same, $111,410.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Polavecchio, any questions?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Chilella, since Essex is handling the bidding of this, will we also handle the management or oversight of the project?
That is correct. We alternate that every 2 years, and this is the Essex County's term to be responsible for this management of this contract.
Thank you.
Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions on this, Madam President.
Okay, freeholders, any questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion in a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold,
I'll second.
seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, please read resolution number 23, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 23, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to J. Fletcher, Creamer and Sons, the lowest responsive and responsible bid to provide for the construction of Newark Access Variable Message Signage System, 180-day contract, amount not to exceed $397,785.
Thank you. Mr. Chilella, can you please explain resolution number 23?
Yes, Madam President, this is good news. It's all, this is grant funded out of federal projects and some capital funds, I believe. This is for new signage for county roads within the city of Newark. I will ask our Assistant Engineer, Dennis Sedalia, to explain the signages that will be a part of this contract.
Dennis Sedaly, Assistant County Engineer, Department of Public Works. This is a grant we received from the state to replace regulatory and warning signs and put street name signs on traffic signals at our intersections and roads in the city of Newark. Regulatory signs would put the black letters on white, rectangular signs you see, no turn on red, signs of that nature. And the warning signs would be the yellow signs, the warning signs, black letters on yellow. And it's to replace all those signs on our county roads in the city of Newark, in addition to adding those street name signs to our traffic signals, so when you approach an intersection, you'd see on the mast on the name of the street you're coming to.
Okay, thank you. Please stay at the mic, because we're going to have, I know I have questions. But Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Through you, Madam President, on this situation Friday, I just had our director, Sanji, and I had the director from the city of Newark, because we were looking at the way the signage was on South Orange Avenue and on Sanford Avenue, because we had a young lady that was hit and run because when they put the new poles and stuff up and the new lighting on South Orange Avenue, they didn't replace the signage, the signs like no turn on red. And one of our seniors was dragged and killed on Sanford Avenue there near the fire station on Sanford Avenue. So I definitely want to vote for this because we definitely need the signage again, especially on the roads that we've been doing repairs on and things of that nature in these towns, not only Newark, but in some of the other towns also. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Johnson. Freeholders, any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll make mine. Freeholder Johnson, that was a horrific tragedy, and this is absolutely something that is needed. I do have questions regarding how your workforce looks for doing the actual contracting work and the signage. Is affirmative action in place? Are you employing or using people that work within the county? We must be consistent if this is what we're asking of people who are being awarded contracts.
Madam President, I'm the Assistant County Engineer for Essex County. I'm not the contractor, so I cannot answer those questions.
Okay. Mr. Chalala?
Through you, Madam President, I don't know exactly what the bid specs called for. This was already bid. We are only bringing this bid back to this board as the lowest responsible bid. I don't know what the language per se in the contract looked at or called for, but we will review that with the clerk and with the president.
Okay, thank you. Freeholder Jones?
My concern, before the contract is awarded, if it's possible, we could find out through the affirmative action as to how many minorities are participating in this particular job.
Through Madam President, as part of our efficiency in terms of information out on the web, that information is included. It's in our Department of Purchasing. We can provide that to the board tomorrow. You have that packet available to you at any time, but as a matter of our new policy not to put certain information on the website in terms of identity theft, but that information was collected, an affirmative action statement, as well as their workforce that breaks out who their workforce is. We do have that. That's part of the bid submission, and we can share that with the board first thing in the morning. But we do have that, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Chalala. Freeholder Wayne Richardson?
I'd just like to piggyback on that. So can you also include their residency where they live?
Through you, Madam President, again, this is a bid. As part of the original bid that goes out, we are under no mandate to require individuals submitting a New Jersey public contract bid to have residents that live in the county or live in the city of Newark. We do not have a quota program or a set-aside program as part of our Small Business Development Office. I think we've had discussions along this line, but until such time as that policy is put in place, there is no hammer to force contractors that are bidding under current bids to hire workforces. However, that's not to say that we do not encourage and ask them to work with our Small Business Development Office for individuals that might need subcontracts, as well as our Workforce Development Office, our CWEP spots, and our workforce and job search programs. So we do encourage that, but we don't have a legal right at this time to mandate that they hire Essex County residents. We can request them, we can strongly urge them, and work with them diligently, as we've done, but I hope that answers the question.
Freeholder Richardson?
Just to piggyback, no, you're exactly right. Devoid of policy, you can't do that. But maybe going forward, maybe we need to develop a policy that speaks to that, because Essex County does a lot of training through their workforce development. They spend a ton of money on all kinds of programs through the state and through the WIB and all of these other agencies that we work with. So we need to try to find a place and a mechanism to put these people to work. So I would be glad to work on policy information, on a policy that speaks to that. Matter of fact, I have some policy language that I'll be glad to share with this Freeholder Board and the administration that will put some mechanisms in place that would would make it mandatory for them to do so. We don't have anything now, but I have some language that'll speak to that and take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Johnson?
Through you, Madam President, as a matter of fact, while we're talking on that note, as a matter of fact, I contacted Ralph Chalella and Mrs. Deborah Collins because there's some models that are here and being used in the state of New Jersey. And there's one that we're going to be meeting with them to see how the model goes, not to say that that would be the direct fit that the county needs, but it will be one that we can draw from and start doing some other things and building some other things around it.
Freeholder Jones?
Basically, I was going to say the same thing. Let's get busy and work on the policies. As a gentleman came from the community stated that there are just so much unemployment in Essex County, and we pay taxes, and at least we should take care of home first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Freeholders, any other questions or comments before I make mine? I echo all those sentiments. Affirmative action is right there at the top of my list. I am interested in seeing the policy language that you have, Freeholder Richardson. And there are a lot of examples happening in this state. We have already met regarding this, regarding affirmative action, and we're going to continue to meet so that we can come up with solutions to help, and also to make sure that people who are unemployed from our county can actually find employment within where they live. But with that said, I also think that I might, Mr. Chalella, implement something where we can have the vendors come before us. The vendor has to be here over a certain dollar amount. I'm not sure what I'm gonna make that dollar amount at, but with that said, I'd like to table this pending further information because I would like to hear from the vendor.
What I would suggest is get a motion to adjourn it to whatever the date of the next meeting is. February 4th.
So I'm gonna need a motion to adjourn this until our next meeting, February 4th.
So moved.
Second.
And to have the vendor.
And to have the vendor here. Moved by Freeholder Jones, seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 24. Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Do we need a roll call?
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll need a vote for the tabling.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, please move to resolution number 24 and read.
Resolution 24. Department of Parks, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Montana Construction, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide miscellaneous drainage improvements, 1-year agreement, amount not to exceed $684,005.57.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chalala. Can you please explain resolution number 24?
Yes, Madam President, this is a open-ended, as-needed contract for various miscellaneous drainage improvements on county roadways. We do have the vendor present with us from Montana Construction.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mir. I'm a project manager at Montana Construction. I had the contract also for last year, for 2014. We did a lot of drainage work for Essex County, basically fixing all the catch basins that were preventing the snow that was melting to go through the pipes. So we had to replace all the catch basins, replace all the piping, and allow proper drainage so it doesn't become a flooding issue. And we did a lot of emergency work for Essex County, so we look forward to do more work for you guys again.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments?
Yes, ma'am.
Freeholder Johnson?
Through you, Madam President. Mr., your name again?
Amir.
Amir?
Yes.
When will you start doing the catch basins? Because as you know, when the snow, with all the snow, and then the rain before the snow, especially on like the South Orange Avenues, the Central Avenues where it comes down the hill, there's usually flooding in people's homes coming along the side streets there because of the water flow that comes down. And if the catch basins are not clean or not emptied out, you know, it causes the floods in the basement. Have you started on some of that
Like I
yet?
said, we've done over 200 catch basin replacements in 2014, and we're still working even today, trying to replace whatever we can. We get a list from the Essex County Engineering Department that we follow. They tell us where to go. But as far as the snow, we had the same issue last year when we first got the contract, and you remember all the snow we had. Regardless, we went to work, we removed all the snow at the catch basins, went down there and did our repairs. So snow is not going to stop us. You know, we've been through this before.
Okay, thank you.
Freeholder Libby Jones?
How many employees do you have?
How many employees?
Yes.
We have over 80 employees.
8 employees. Is it possible, whether you can tell me how many of those employees are from Essex County, approximately?
I can tell you over 60% of employees live in Essex County, and most of them reside in Newark.
Okay.
Okay. Freeholders, any other questions or comments?
I have one.
Freeholder Richardson?
In terms of diversity, that's a great, I'm glad you're hiring Essex County and Newark residents. How many African Americans do you have in your employ? If you know, just a rough number.
Top of my head, I would say 5.
So out of the 80, you have 5?
Yes. And we are a union company. You know, we have 472 union, 825 operators union. So as far as getting new employees, it's basically a queue system over there.
Say no more, I know how it works.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second?
Move it.
Moved by Freeholder Richardson,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Siebold. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please move to resolution number 25. Please read.
Resolution 25, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, resolution consenting to the Township of Irvington Resolution number DP-14-1209-47 to relocate an existing bus stop.
Mr. Chalala, can you please explain resolution number 25?
Yes, this is at the request of the Township of Irvington. They would like to have the bus stop relocated from Chancellor Avenue and Union Avenue, the near side, to Union Avenue and Lehigh Avenue, the far side. The cost to do that will be bared by, the entire cost by New Jersey Transit. There will be no cost to the County of Essex.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Do you have any questions or comments? Okay. I like the part about bearing no cost. With that said, can I get a motion in a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Libby Jones,
I'll second.
seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please read resolution number 26?
Resolution 26, Department of Public Works Contract Award to Klein Recycling, the highest revenue-generated bidder for the purchase and removal of various types of scrap metals from Essex County, 24-month contract.
Thank you, Mr. Chilla. Can you please explain Resolution 26?
Yes, again, this is a open-ended contract. This is revenue to the county in the event that the county needs to scrap metals, iron, copper, aluminum. There is a fixed price that we will be paid. Just to give you a figure, last year, county did receive from the items that they did scrap $19,383.02.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? Mr. Polavecchio?
Mr. Chilella, I know this is a revenue-generating contract, and I look in the materials, and it shows it's a percentage of the amount, I guess, per pound of whatever the metal is. But it looks like this vendor is offering over 100% of the per pound. So does that mean if they get $1 for a pound of copper, they're paying us $1.20?
That is correct. For aluminum, for example, I believe it's 120.22%. That is correct.
That's excellent. I like to hear stuff like that. Any way we can create revenue. And
I'm not great at math.
Through you, Madam President, we had 22 vendors that looked at this bid. We did have 3 submittals. This vendor was the highest revenue back to the county.
thank you. Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions?
Could you explain that again? Because I kind of got lost in them paying us more than $1.
Dennis,
Please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Dennis Daly, Assistant County Engineer.
So I'm just looking, how does just run me through one transaction?
We have a dumpster at our Cedar Grove facility at 99 West Bradford Avenue. We throw all our scrap metal into the dumpster, and I believe we have a second dumpster for aluminum because we have a lot of aluminum. All right, and when they're filled, the vendor picks up the container, takes it to his facility. He will separate the different materials, weigh them, and give us the price based on what is in the contract.
Okay, so the price is set in the contract. So whatever if our price is, hopefully, for his sake, I hope our price is less than market.
Well, he'll give us what the market price is in every category, I believe, over the market price.
So then how does he make his money?
I do not know. I do believe that he does stockpile materials, and he realizes that's how he realizes his profit.
So
Again, that's only
so
speculation.
he'll take the aluminum, but within the aluminum, there's other stuff that he gets that he doesn't pay us anything for?
No, aluminum, he pays us for aluminum, and then there's scrap metal. We get paid for everything we put in the dumpster.
But if he pays us market rate or above market rate, his price, are we saying his price is, if he goes in and he pays and he gets $1, he gives us $1.20?
Well, yes.
That makes absolutely no mathematical sense. It makes no sense.
It doesn't, but it doesn't.
Something's missing here.
Right, it doesn't make mathematical sense for the vendor. It certainly makes mathematical sense for us. But
Well, as
we
long
have
as
to
there's
be
not
careful.
something we're misunderstanding.
Is this the same vendor that has provided the service in the past?
I believe it's a new vendor this time around.
Okay. Mr. Chilala?
I'm not certain of that. I need to check that. I think it's the same vendor as we've had in the past. Whether he had it last year, I'm not certain. But just to give you some magnitude, the next highest bidder, let's say for copper, Klein was at 121%. Frisco Steel Processing was at 90%.
90% of what, though, Ralph?
I'm not an expert in scrap, so I will have to get that answer for you.
Yeah, I'm just, it makes no, the way it's being explained, and forgive me, Dennis, I know we're not but it's just mathematically, it's not making any sense. So until we can figure this out, I would question whether to move forward on it.
Okay. Mr. Polavecchio, any other
you
questions
understand
or
it, Mike?
comments?
No, that's why I asked the question.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to also table this, and our next meeting will be February 4th. Can I get a motion to do that?
Motion.
Motion from Freeholder Richardson.
I'll second.
And a second from Freeholder Libby Jones. And pending our questions, Mr. Chalala, we're tabling this. So we expect to know the mathematics, how the vendor is making his money. We don't want to put ourselves in a bind, although this looks as though it's in our favor, and it certainly is a way to generate revenue, which is a way for us so that we don't have to raise taxes, which I am 100% on board for not doing that as much as possible. So, but, you know, some things, when they sound too good to be true, we just need to check on them. All right?
Just need a roll call.
Roll call.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes to table.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bovadilla, absent Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please move to resolution number 27 and read?
Resolution 27, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Purchasing, authorization to conduct an online auction to sell 22 vehicle equipment.
Mr. Chalala, can you please explain this?
Yes, Madam President. These are vehicles in our fleet that no longer have any useful life to the county. In your packet, you'll have a description of the vehicles. You'll have their VIN numbers and a description of what they are, and they range from a Toro Reelmaster, which is a grass-cutting piece of equipment, to cars and vans and trucks.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, Mr. McInerney?
Just, what are the ages of those vehicles?
Frank, they're in your packet. They range
Yeah, I
from
saw
the
them.
earliest 1987 to the earliest, so the newest is a
2001?
2004 Ford van E150.
And what's the typical mileage on those?
I don't have the
No, I know
mileage.
you don't, but typically, are they?
They vary, Frank, because some of them are hours. They're clocked in hours in
Okay.
usage, not in miles. So what we can do is give you a breakdown of the mileage for these vehicles.
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Toro?
Being new as a freeholder, I'm just curious, how often do we auction vehicles from the fleet?
It depends. There are times when we do it twice a year, but quite frankly, if we do have a bad year, what I mean by a bad year is vehicles that might not, that are in accidents that are beyond their useful life to be repaired, the insurance, and the Public Works Fleet Management Yard is filled. It depends, because we don't want to store them too long. We need the space, obviously. So on the average, I think we do it like twice a year. It could be less, or it could be more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other questions or comments? Freeholder Libby Jones?
With this particular auction, I see it's online, and it's done by the purchasing agency. Is there a set price for certain vehicles or commodity that is being auctioned off, or you just, whatever you put, the lowest or the highest bid against it? What are the criteria as to how you dispense of those different things?
Through you, Madam
Mr.
President,
Chawla?
we will also provide that information, but it's usually the highest bidder. We used to, years ago, conduct a live auction where the individuals would come to the site, examine the item, and then conduct a bid. What we found was when we went to an online bid, we had a lot more takers and a lot more bids, which was beneficial to the county, bringing in more revenue. So, but in terms of if there's a opening bid for an item, I will find that out. I'm not certain.
Thank you. Any other questions, freeholders, before I ask mine? Okay, Mr. Chilella, what is our goal of revenue for this? I know it's a little bit difficult to determine because you're dealing with an open auction.
What I can provide the board is the last two auctions and the revenue we derived from those auctions as a baseline.
Fantastic, thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, this is something for the county that is going to generate revenue for us.
That
and
is
help
correct.
us in our budget so that we don't have to go up on taxes and we can sort of relieve the pressure for our citizens.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Freeholder Libby Jones, seconded by Freeholder Cynthia Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Let's please move to resolutions number 28 through 37, which are all commendations. And can you read them into the record now, not at a later time?
Okay. Would you like me to read them all in?
Yes,
now?
please.
Okay. And that's resolutions 28 through 37. Okay. Resolution 28, commendation honoring Arlene Steinbecker on her retirement from Essex County Division of Training and Employment, sponsored by Freeholder Siebel. Resolution 29, commendation honoring Joshua Krasner for achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, sponsored by Freeholder Luciano. Commendation 30, Resolution 30, commendation honoring Deandra Kelly, Queen of the 37th Annual Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade, Saturday, March 7th, 2015, sponsored by Freeholder Gill, Luciano, and Toro. Resolution 31, commendation honoring Joseph Milbauer, 2015 Nutley Irish American Association Member of the Year, sponsored by Freeholder Gill, Luciano, and Toro. Resolution 32, commendation honoring Chuck O'Mara, Deputy Grand Marshal of the 37th Annual Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade, Saturday, March 7th, 2015, sponsored by Freeholders Gill, Luciano, and Toro. Resolution 33, commendation honoring Ann Morris, Deputy Grand Marshal of the 37th Annual Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade, Saturday, March 7, 2015, sponsored by Freeholders Gill, Luciano, and Toro. Resolution 34, commendations honoring John Redstone, Fighter of the Year for the 37th Annual Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade, Saturday, March 7, 2015, sponsored by Freeholders Gill, Luciano, and Toro. Resolution 35, resolution designation of Franklin Avenues as O'Mara Boulevard and Center Street as Morris Boulevard for the 37th Annual Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade, Saturday, March 7, 2014, in honor of Grand Marshal Chuck O'Mara and Deputy Grand Marshal Ann Morris. 2015, thank you. Sponsored by Freeholders Gill, Luciano, and Toro. Resolution 36, commendation honoring Charles Nolly, Crawford Cruz American Legion Post 251 Community Awareness Program, Saturday, January 24th, 2015, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake. Resolution 37, commendation honoring Captain Henry Curtis Rock, Crawford Cruz American Legion Post 251 Community Awareness Program, Saturday, January 24th, 2015, sponsored by Freeholder Timberlake.
Thank you. Freeholders, any questions or comments? Freeholder Johnson?
Through you, Madam President, I would like to be added to 30 through 35.
Okay. You got that?
That's fine.
That's fine. I would like to as well.
You said 30 and
30 to 35.
30 through to 35, okay.
Yes, for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And just some clarification, sponsored by myself, the commendations honoring Charles Noley and Captain Henry Curtis Rock. Those are Tuskegee Airmen. And I just think it's absolutely fascinating to sit down and talk with people from that generation that have made such open doors for my generation. Freeholder.
Through you, Madam President, can I be added to those two?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Same here with Levy Jones.
Absolutely. Levy Jones and Freeholder Richard Johnson. I was thinking of Wayne over here.
Madam President, I'll like to be added that as well.
Okay, and Freeholder, go. All right. So, Freeholders, do we have a mover and a second to take resolutions 28 through 37, which are all commendations that we just read?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Luciano,
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Richardson. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Freeholder Toro?
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo?
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. So, Madam Clerk, resolutions 38 through 63 are resolutions to reestablish 23 continuing board committees and establish 3 new committees. The Committee to Review Funding of Nonprofit, which I'm very proud of, and the Citizenship Immigration Services Committee, which I'm also very proud of, and a Housing and Community Development Oversight Committee, again proud of. Madam Clerk, you can read the titles for the 23 continuing committees into the record at a later time. Freeholders, as you know, I consulted each of you about which committees that you were passionate about. And I've made the membership and the chairmanship appointees according to that, according to your what it is that you're interested in and what it is that your platforms are. I'm a firm believer that whenever you go to work every day, you should go to work to do exactly what you love. And I hope that you are okay with all of your placements. And I haven't heard otherwise, so I'm assuming so. And do you have any questions or comments on the 26 board committees? Okay, great. And I just wanted to make a comment. I spoke on it earlier, the Committee to Review Funding for Nonprofits. That is certainly something that was needed. We have to, we give a lot of money to nonprofit organizations that provide services and they're on the ground. You heard a nonprofit executive come before us today with questions regarding funding for nonprofit. And it is my goal through this committee that we will be able to have a handle on what nonprofits are performing versus not, and understand how money is allocated going out the door to the nonprofits that actually are working on the ground. And the Citizenship and Immigration Services Committee, that was something that was absolutely needed. As it stands now, we currently, the only committee on the Freeholder Board that represents those who are from another country was ICE, which is under the penal system. And as a board, it's something that I spoke to Freeholder Rolando Bobadilla about quite often, and we felt as though that there should be some other kind of representation, because just because you're from another country does not mean that you are illegal. One, I don't believe that any human being is illegal. But with that said, we can't dismantle ICE at all, the ICE committee, but what we can do is branch out and create the Citizenship and Immigration Services Committee to make sure that we are paying attention and serving the population of our brothers and sisters from another country that have come through during a naturalized process. And the Housing and Community Development Oversight Committee, housing is a big issue in our areas, and it is also a big department. So we are going to be, really getting a handle on things from that committee and making sure that low to moderate income people receive the types of high quality housing that they deserve, as well as the nonprofit organizations providing the housing are paid attention to as well. We're also going to be analyzing some policies and some procedures to make sure that our population is served with the less bureaucracy as possible. Sometimes we can have unnecessary bureaucracy, and therefore, make it so that no one qualifies, even though we have such a great need for people to qualify. So I just wanted to speak on those 3 committees that are being added, because it is something that is different and it has not been done in quite a few years. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second to take resolutions 38 through 63 together as one?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Libby Jones, seconded by Freeholder Cynthia Toro. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo. Yes. Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberton.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, I'm going to move to the report of board committees. Freeholders, do we have any reports of board committees?
This woman wasn't here. I don't know if you intended to vote on 11 or not. Okay, so let's take a motion for 11 and 14, just to adjourn that until next week.
Okay.
Go back to
Before proceeding, our attorney has pointed out that 11 and 14, resolutions 11 and 14, need to be moved to the next meeting, February 4th, as they were not present to come before us for the reappointment of Beverly Lynn to the Essex County Human Services Advisory Council, and also the nomination for the reappointment of Sanford, the gentleman whose name we had trouble pronouncing, Fitel, to the Essex County Mental Health Advisory Board. So we will be voting on that next week.
So we just take a motion, second to adjourn
Motion
those
and a
two?
second to adjourn those 2?
Motion.
Motion by Freeholder Wayne Richardson. Seconded by Freeholder Johnson. Okay, moving, roll call.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes,
So moved.
thank you. Moving on to legislation reports, do we have any? Hearing none. Are there any written communications? Hearing none. Any unfinished business? Freeholders, do you have any unfinished business? Any new business that you wish to discuss, freeholders? Okay. So, Madam Clerk, we're going to go to public comment. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any matter, please come to the microphone and state your name, address, and affiliation for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening again, and my name is James Harris, live at 9 Pleasant Avenue, Montclair, and having sat through this meeting, I am encouraged. I really appreciate, Madam President, your questioning of those contracts that come before the public and the ability of the public to hear an explanation of each item on the agenda. Having come to these meetings, that's truly in the movement of transparency. And of course, I can only commend you for the incredible number of committees that the board has. And of course, I've expressed my concern about one in particular, and that's the affirmative action and equal opportunity. My question is, are the board committees open to the public?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if they are, is it possible to have them published in a timely fashion so that the public can know when and where they will meet? And then I assume that if they're meeting in committees, there is a minutes that will transpire from each of the committees and so forth. So the only other comment that I would make is I was concerned a little bit when we were talking about the land resolution and all the folks who came up to introduce themselves. And of course, my question was, are there any black folks who care anything about that particular area? But then when we got to the human services, that it appeared that there was some diversity. So my request would be that we look at all of the commission and advisory committees to make sure that the diversity of the county is in fact represented. And I'm going to go one step further. We have a tendency sometimes as public officials to invite people who have college degrees to be a part. But when you consider only 27% of certain groups have college degrees, if we don't invite the people who don't, then we're leaving out the majority of the population. So I would really want the board to be sensitive to the fact that people who are non-college degrees have a great deal of intelligence. And in fact, because we're in Essex County and those numbers are so large, if we're not inviting those people to the conversation, then we're really not serving the majority of the public. So again, thank you very much. The NAACP, as well as the New Jersey Black Issues, stand in support of what you do. And of course, on the anniversary of Martin Luther King and Black History Month coming up, we look forward to partnering with you and working with you in a positive way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. And again, thank you so much for your courage to come up to the microphone and always fight for things. You and I know one another well, and you know that that's what anything under my leadership, and especially with this board coming in with the dynamic skills. You know, you get a social worker, a union representative, an educator, you know, and there's no way, and myself, a nonprofit executive when I'm not sitting in this chair, there was no way that we're not going to fight for social services and people in need and those who can't speak for themselves. So thank you. And also, we do advertise those meetings in the Star Ledger and on the website. Okay? And I'll be chairing affirmative action.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Essex County Freeholders. Douglas Freeman, South Ward 44th District Leader, P.O. Box 4252, North New Jersey. I see on Resolution 47 that there's a committee for utilities. On January 21st, we went to the City of Newark to discuss the wires that are hanging not only in Newark, but in Irvington and other municipalities that's inside Essex County. PSEG wires are hanging from the telephone poles, Verizon and Cablevision and Comcast. These wires are hazardous to our citizens. And I'm hoping that this board and oversight will address this issue, as Newark is also taking care of this right now, that we can have a meeting. I sent to your office through your clerk pictures of some of the deplorable hazardous conditions that's inside our city and our Essex County neighborhoods. So through your office, Madam President, we want to have this addressed with these utility companies. Thank you.
Thank you. And nice to see you over there, Mr. Wadu. I missed you last week. We will respond to your request in writing. This is something that was discussed and is being worked on, though. You're absolutely correct. You can walk down any block inside off of main streets and see wires hanging down. And it is an issue that is being addressed, but we will respond in writing. Thank you. Do we have any other members from the public that wish to make a comment?
Here you go.
Mr. Tedesco, you want to tell me how I'm doing on time?
If you ask, I'll make sure I do it. William Tedesco, Roseland, New Jersey. Very good. You started on time. I think you're moving along. I think you are all doing a great job. It's nice and refreshing. Thank you. And like I say, always congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. Freeholders, do you have any comments that you'd like to make? Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to put on record that as a member of the Deer Management Committee, we start our deer hunt. Is that correct, Mr. Chiola, tomorrow night? And
Through you, Madam President, is correct. Tuesdays was canceled because of weather.
So we start tomorrow night, and we'll be closing Essex County parks down for the next month or so. So I just want to make sure that the residents at home that watch our meetings on TV are aware, just to follow the signage and pay close attention to what's going on. And to the administration, I know in the past I've visited the actual site to see the operation. I put that out there to any of the other freeholders that might be interested. It really is pretty amazing to see what they do, how they keep track of every deer that's culled, you know, whether it's a male, female, if it's a female, if it's pregnant, and then of course, I like to put this on record. We do donate the meat to the food bank of New Jersey, which I think is a really good thing. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Freeholders, any other comments? Okay, hearing none. Freeholders, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Seabold. In a second? Seconded by Freeholder Richardson.